Welcome and welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. So if this is your first time, all of my recipes is easy and delicious to make. If you're returning, you know how I do. I don't like to keep you waiting, so let's get started. So today, I am going to make my version of a Chantilly cake. Now, I don't know if you're like me and you look at the prices today, they're like outrageous. And it's coming spring, and so I just felt like making something with fruits in it, but something that's also very affordable. So I'm using strawberries. Now this is my version of a Chantilly cake. Now Chantilly cake usually have fruits in it, at least the ones that I've tasted. Maybe yours, I don't know, maybe the ones you have been a little bit different, but let me know. So these are just strawberries, nothing special there. I'm just taking off the green top. And how's everyone doing? This weather, I don't know where you are, but where I am, one day warm, next day freezing. And I mean freezing. Like, is it spring? Is it still winter? We can't decide with this weather. So I hope everything is going well for you and yours and your family. But as the weather heat up, I don't know, I always start wanting fruits. Not too much in winter time. So you could just cut this up in any way. It really doesn't matter. And you'll see why in a second. I'm just going to cut up these strawberries. And you know, in a Chantilly cake, it doesn't have to be strawberries, even though strawberries is usually in Chantilly cake. But if you don't like strawberries, you can use any other fruits that you like. We just love strawberries, and strawberries seems to always go on sale. So, strawberries. But again, if strawberries not your thing, I hear you. Use any fruit that you like. Those who's new to my channel, you know, all my recipes, you can alter them and make them what you like. Okay. So now, blackberries. Why am I using blackberries? Because they was on sale. You can use blueberries if you want. I'm going to take some and I'm just going to put it in here with strawberries. So, blueberries. No, not blueberries. Blackberries and strawberries. Now, usually they have like raspberries and blackberries. But I just went with those two. Why? Because those are the only two that was on sale. So now I'm going to come in with some sugar. And I'm just using what I have. You can use brown sugar. You can use any sugar that you like. One of the great things I always say about making your own delicious treat is you get to decide how sweet you want it. So that's as much sugar as I'm going to put in for right now. And I have what I call a potato masher. This is why I was saying I didn't have to cut it up too small because I'm just going to mash it. But if you didn't have this, you can just use the back of a fork. You don't have to get anything, buy any extra equipment. Just use the back of a fork. And you see all the juices? That's what makes the cake nice and juicy. Do you ever have a dry cake? Have you ever ate a dry cake? And you're trying not to choke, but you don't want to be, offensive to anyone? Yeah, that's not a good eat. So I'm just going to keep mashing it up. And again, it doesn't have to be too mashed up, but just a little bit more. Okay, here we go with that. Okay. So to that, I am going to I'm going to set this to a side because I wasn't actually supposed to use that bowl yet, but I did. So I'm going to transfer this to this bowl because I realize I'm going to need a bigger bowl, and you'll see why in a second. So I'll set that over here. Now I'm using self-rising flour, and the reason why I'm using self-rising flour instead of all-purpose is because if I use all-purpose, I have to add baking soda, baking powder, and salt. Self-rising causes the cake to do just that, rise. So I'm going to use about a cup. And we'll see if I need more. And as always, ingredients and measurements will be in the description box. Please take a minute, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel. It's absolutely free. But please do that. Just take a second and leave a comment. Let me know if you would have did anything differently. Okay, now I'm going to take 3 medium eggs. I didn't have large, wasn't on sale, so I'm going to take 3 medium. And just whip that up. If I can crack them. Yep, there you go. And that's all you hear me doing off camera. It's just cracking eggs. Nothing special about that, but I will let you see that. Okay, there we go. Crack another one. And another way if you make cakes, even if you're doing a store-bought cake, like a box cake, they may say add 1 or 2 eggs, but you want the cake to taste really rich. And so one of the tricks of that is the eggs. Okay. Here we go. Now, to that, I'm not going to mix that in with the flour just yet. I'm going to add some milk. Really, everyday milk. Nothing special. Now, some may say add water, and you could. But again, you want that rich flavor, and you get that with milk. And I'm adding about 1/2 cup because this is a very thick cake. Okay, so now I'm going to pour that in, but I'm not going to mix any use. I'll tell you why in a second. I have some more stuff to go inside. After we finish with that, of course, my cinnamon. Really simple ingredients. You don't have to spend a lot of money to make this cake, but I'm telling you, your family will love it. And I'm going in with, what is this? A teaspoon. No, it's not. A teaspoon. Is that saying a teaspoon? 1 tablespoon. And I may do a little bit more, and I am, because this is a thick cake. So I'm going in with 2 tablespoons. Now this is ground nutmeg. I'm going to go very light on this because this is actually stronger than the cinnamon. If I could get it open. There we go. Yeah, and even spices. Flavoring has even went up. This is 1/2 teaspoon. Everything costs nowadays. And your mom probably heard me say that 100 times. So, but tell me, what plans do you have for the summer? Are you planning on going anywhere or doing anything? It seemed like, the year is just rolling by. I can't believe we're already in March and soon going to be in April. Like, where did the time go? Okay, I have lemon abstract. I know you're so used to me using vanilla. But I said, let's make it a little bit different. And I don't know, when I think of vanilla, I think of the warmth. And when I think of lemon, I think of the summer. I don't know, let me know, are you the same? Like when I think vanilla, I think the winter time. I don't know why. And I'm going to just pour that in. And the extract is not as strong as a flavoring to me, I think. So I did go a little bit heavier with that. Okay. And now I'm going to come in with some sugar. Even though I put some in the fruits, I'm going to put a little bit more in the batter. Now, I'm just going to sprinkle that in, and I'm going to go in with about 1.5 cups. I don't want it too sweet. Okay. Now I have to get the butter. Now I didn't have butter, so I have margarine. So I have about 2 sticks of melted margarine. But if you have butter, use butter. Use whatever you have on hand. And now I'm going to mix it. And the reason why I didn't mix it before, because you can overmix the batter, and it does not taste that good. So now I'm going to add some of the fruits to it, but I'm also going to save a little, and you'll see why later. So let me put some of that in. Okay. Now I think I'm going to put all of that in. Yes, I am. I want a delicious, moist cake. And it's looking kind of thick, the batter. So I'm going to come in with a little bit more milk. And this is about 1 cup now. Milk. And now I'm going to stir everything together. If I would have started stirring everything before, like each time I put something in, I would have overworked the flour. And that's when you get a really tough cake. And that's not really that good. Don't worry, I know it looks like everything is not mixing together, but it is. It will come together beautifully. Now, if you don't like the color of your batter, you can always change it. But my family seems to care about how it tastes, not the color of the cake. Yeah, we got that in common. I have seen some very beautiful cakes and actually paid for them, and they taste horrible. But I have lemon. Not lemon, yellow coloring. So I'm just going to put 1, 2, like 3 drops. You clearly don't have to do that. Here we go. There we go. All mixed up. Now I'm going to stop staring because, again, I don't want a tough cake. But leave a comment. Let me know, what do y'all like? Like, what fruits you would use instead. And please hit the like button. You know, sometimes you'll watch and I think you forget to hit the like button, but it really helps the channel. It costs absolutely nothing. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, but kind of close. I think I'm at 896. So every little bit helps. And again, share the video. Okay? Please. Don't want to sound like I'm demanding. Okay. So I just have some cooking spray. And I'm just going to spray my pan. And if you're new to this channel, one of my biggest fears is making a cake. You can't get it out the pan. I don't know if that ever happened to you, but it has to me. It's a nightmare. I have 2. And that juicy stuff you saw in the pan, that's just because of the strawberries that's sitting in them. Okay. Okay, and I may not need 2 pans, but just in case. Okay. That's that one. And I'm going to set that one to the side. So I can pour the second batter into the second pan. Okay. Hardly have any room here. Okay. Here we go. Get all that deliciousness out. Okay. So I'm going to get both of these cakes into the oven, and I'm going to do it at 300, and it should take about 25 to 30 minutes. After 25 minutes, I'm going to test and see if it's done. Okay, let me get it in the oven. Okay, so this did take about 25 minutes, which I'm kind of surprised because I thought it would take longer. But yeah, it took about 25 minutes for it to cook completely through. Then I put it in a refrigerator and let it cool off for about 10 to 15 minutes. And can you see the berries? The strawberries and the blueberries. It is delicious. Now, of course, I can leave it just like that, but I'm not. You know me. So what I'm going to do, let me set this to the side. I just want to put a topping. Oh, I'm running out of room. So give me 1 second. Okay. Back again. I want to put a topping on the cake. So I had some berries left over, some strawberries and some blackberries. And as always, I want the most simplest topping as possible. So I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to come in with vanilla pudding. Now, you don't have to use vanilla. You can use lemon. You can use banana. You use whatever you want to use. Oh, no. Wrong one. I'm going to need a bigger bowl. Yeah. So, yeah, I think this is a perfect cake since it's, turning warm outside. And I find that fruit tastes much better in the summertime and in the spring than if you buy it in the winter. It's just not as sweet. And I guess it's because it's not in season. I don't know, but it tastes much better. So now I'm just going to come in with some milk. Nothing special there. And the trick is, the colder the milk, the faster it would turn, stiff. Now my milk is not that cold, so I'm probably going to have to whip it. Another thing is, the less milk you put in, the stiffer it will be. But you will have less pudding. So right away that tells me to put in just a little bit more milk. Yeah, please take a minute, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I think I'm right at 890. So yeah, leave a comment. I love to hear from you. I do read the comments, and I will respond to each comment. Let me know where you're watching me from, and have you ever heard of a Chantilly cake? And again, this is just my version of a Chantilly cake. There are so many different versions of Chantilly cake. Okay, I think I'm going to put just a little bit more. Okay. There we go. Now, you know how much I love Cool Whip. So now I'm going to come in with some Cool Whip. And this is just to lighten it up. And you put as much or as little as you want. And if you don't like Cool Whip, you can leave the Cool Whip out. Okay. So now I'm just going to stir that into the pudding. And I'm telling you, when you go to these big fancy stores and you buy a cake and you're trying to figure out what is it, made with, I'm telling you, most of the stuff is just store-bought right off the shelf. And they charge you a fortune for it. Hey, if you don't have the money for it, great. But if you don't, you can still have a wonderful cake. Okay, I'm going to put this to the side. Now, remember I said I had some extra berries? And I did. Some strawberries. So I'm just going to cut that up. And it doesn't have to cut, to a certain size. You don't have to cut it to a certain size or anything like that, because we're going to mash them up. And believe it or not, I like for some of it to show through, so that when you bite down into the cake, you're actually tasting it, the berries. I have 8 cakes and I'm not quite sure what it is I'm eating. Yeah, I don't pretty much like that too much. But yeah. But again, if you like it real fine, mash away. And I had some blackberries left over, so that's going to go in. And if you don't like blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. Okay. Here we go. And you'd be surprised how doing just little things like this could bring your cake really out. And what I mean by that, it won't even taste like, something. You could tell everyone you bought it from one of those fancy French restaurants or bakeries, and they'll believe it. Or you can tell them this is your creation and take all the credit. Okay. I'm going to just mix this in. Yes, perfect. There we go. Yeah. It even smells delicious. Now, I have gelatin, and this is unflavored gelatin. Why am I putting that in? Because I want this to set up a little bit. And, pudding and Cool Whip will break down. But the unflavored gelatin will help it to stiffen up like a frosting. Perfect. Now, where are my 2 cakes? What did I do? There they go. Let me get them for you. Okay. go. Now we are going to frost them. Now there's no rhyme or reason on how to do this, but I'm going to do one at a time because that would make sense, wouldn't it? I guess I'm just getting ahead of myself. It has been a very long day. So first thing we're going to do, I want this cake to be on top. So I'm going to set this cake aside and I'm going to put this one on the plate. Put this one right here. Remember, I made two. And I usually don't. I usually just make one, but this time I made two. And because this is going to be on the inside, you can make it any kind of way you want. And I'm going to push it all the way to the end. You ever have a cake and the end actually has no frosting to it? Yeah. We want every bite to be delicious. And you can see the berries in them and the frosting. I'm calling it frosting. There we go. Now the top layer. And yeah, I just felt like doing a square cake. Something a little bit different. There we go. I'm telling you, if you make this, it will not sit up that long. After the first cut, everyone is going to want to bite. And you don't have to pay $40 or $50 for this Chantilly cake. Because you can now make one yourself. And you can use any fruit or flavoring you like. If you don't like lemon, use almond, any flavor you like. Now, I just happen to have some extra strawberries. And I think I'm going to place one there. And maybe one there. A couple, oops, wrong way. Right there. Yeah. I don't know. And I think I put one there. Simple, easy, and delicious. Please take a minute, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel. Until next time, enjoy.